So imagine spending 2 hours of your hard-earned salary on a pizza that looks amazing, but when you bite into it, it's just mediocre. So I love pizza, obviously, but after 3 years here in Cleveland, I've been a bit disappointed by the pizza scene here. Not just because it fails to satisfy my own cravings, but because I want people like you who come to visit Cleveland to leave feeling like you've discovered unique flavors that make your trip unforgettable. Which is why after a year operating my own pizza pop-up, which many people have called some of the best pizza they've ever had, by the way, I've decided to open my own pizzeria with the mission to serve the absolute best pizza in Ohio and eventually the world. Even if you're not in Cleveland though, don't worry, I've got something special for you as well. However, there is one huge problem I have that might prevent this whole thing from happening. Before we get into that though, let's head inside. I'll tell you how I'm gonna pull this off, what I've done so far, and most importantly, how you can become one of the first to come grab a slice. Now, the first thing you're probably wondering is, what's my pizza gonna be like, and why am I so certain that it's gonna be the best pizza in Ohio? Well, I think the best way to explain this is just to show you. So let's go make some pizza. So this here is, well, it's a pizza oven, but not just any pizza oven. It's a Moretti Forni electric oven, like the ones used by some of the best pizzerias in New York, which are some of my biggest inspirations. But of course, the oven isn't everything. The beauty of this property though is that it also has most of the other equipment that I'll need. A spiral mixer, walk-in coolers, prep tables, all of which will allow me to make great pizza right out of the gate. However, while equipment does make a huge difference, a lot bigger than most people realize, it's only one piece of the puzzle. Because if all you needed to do to make great pizza was buy expensive equipment, there'd be a lot more great pizza out there. In fact, there's one thing that's even more important, and while we let this oven preheat, we'll talk about exactly what that is. So believe it or not, I still remember the very first pizza I made. It wasn't great, to say the least, but in a weird sort of way, I think that's what drew me to it. Because as I'm sure many of you can relate, pizza making quickly became an obsession. Trying to learn and make better and better pizza each time. And before long, I was pumping out pretty great pizza, or at least I thought so at the time. However, there was one thing that was about to happen that would change everything for me. Because that next summer I went on a trip with my family, and I figured, hey, I've been making all this pizza for myself that I'm pretty proud of, why not make it for the family? And it may have seemed like a small thing at the time, but that experience would basically change the course of my entire life, even if I didn't realize it until a few years later. Now, it didn't go perfectly. I mean, I'll spare you the details, but by the time I was done, I ended up with 2 burnt hands and a broken pizza stone. But more importantly, I had 10 beautiful pizzas made with love. And when I saw the reactions of my friends and family thoroughly enjoying something that I worked so hard to create, it was the most fulfilled I'd ever felt. There was just no other feeling like it. So fast forward a few years later, and I moved here to Cleveland. At this point, my passion for pizza had grown even more, and I found myself desperately searching for reliable, high-quality pizzerias where I could walk up and grab a slice. But they just didn't exist. Then one day, I had an idea. What if I could create that reliable, high-quality pizza? I mean, I couldn't be the only pizza lover craving something new here, right? So I took action. I started hosting free events for residents at my apartment, and immediately it brought me right back to that same feeling I had serving pizza for my family all those years earlier. So in August 2023, I hosted my first official pop-up, selling my pizza to paying customers, and the feedback was pretty overwhelming. I can't tell you the number of comments I got from people saying, "We need this here. There's no good pizza in Cleveland." And although the pizza I was putting out wasn't nearly up to my current standards, even on that first night, people were telling me it was some of the best pizza they'd ever had. They could see and taste the passion being put into it. And that's the difference. It's this passion, dedication to excellence and constant improvement, and doing whatever it takes to serve people in the best way possible that'll allow me to be successful. But the passion of one person only goes so far. So there's something else that's even more important that's gonna allow me to make the best pizza in Ohio. Now, before we get into that biggest problem I need to solve, in order to make this whole thing happen, we need to talk about the last thing I'm gonna do in order to make the best pizza in Ohio. So think of it this way. We've all heard of violin, right? Now stick with me here, this will all make sense in a minute. So a master violinist is pretty incredible to listen to. I mean, we've all experienced it. They make you feel like you're in a whole nother world just by listening. As amazing as that is though, it pales in comparison to an entire orchestra. While a violin is like hearing one beautiful voice, an orchestra is like an entire choir of sounds working together. So what's that got to do with the pizzeria? Well, I want to provide an unmatched customer experience here and a product like nobody has ever made before. And to do that, I need this place to be an orchestra. In other words, I need to build a team of great people who share my mission. People who are motivated by the same things I am and get that same fulfillment from creating incredible food for others and striving towards something greater than themselves. So if that sounds like you, by the way, reach out to me on Instagram at GoodPizzaCleveland and we can talk. But if you still need further convincing and you want to see how I run my pizza pop-up, you can check out this video video right here. Either way, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one.